Hello and welcome to How to Deal When the Shit Gets Real podcast. I'm Rietta, and today is my first episode of my true crime version of How to Deal. And I'm just kind of giving a little intro of what the plan is going forward before I start introducing what I'm working on. Partly because I don't want to give any insight to the person that I'm looking into this. And just to kind of start off in general of why I'm even interested is I've always been a true crime person, which I think a lot of us are. We get kind of invested in these stories of what happened, why people act the way they do. How can someone do things to people that they love, and so on. And I had this case kind of drop into my lap, just on accident. Nothing I planned, nothing I thought anything about, and it actually happened almost a year ago. And I wasn't really in the right mindset at the time to really understand what I had until recently. And when I started to go back over certain things, I realized that this came to me for a reason. And I kept getting pulled back to it for a reason. Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to have this episode. I'm going to have this info. And it's just not one I'm going to use. It's just not an episode I'm going to use. And I'm just going to leave it. But I kept getting pulled back to it. I kept getting pulled back and pulled back. And whatever you believe in, universe, God, spirits, guides, and source, something kept pulling me back to it. So I meant to do something with this. So I'm going to. And y'all are going to be on the journey with me of hopefully solving this case because it deserves to be solved. Starting next week, I'll start going into some more detail, providing stuff that I have, evidence that I have, and hopefully also bringing some guests in along the way, retired police officers, FBI, forensic people that can help or even just discuss about true crime in general. So if you're a true crime person, I hope you stick around with me, will help me figure this out because I already know it's not something I'm going to be able to do on my own. I do know that I was meant to do something with it, and I was meant to help solve it and meant to help crack it. I've already talked to some people that have been involved from the get-go and are very excited to have my involvement and hope that I will help crack it. And that's my goal. And I know I'm being very cryptic right now, but again, like I said, because it is still an open investigation and it is still ongoing, I don't want to give too much away right away. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But I've always been fascinated by true crime stuff, but never knew of a way for me to really get involved or what I could do to help without impeding. You know, I don't want to impede anything. That was always my biggest worry, which is why I talk to people that are involved first. Why the person I did talk to, I had to make sure that it's okay with the family because the last thing I want to do is make it worse. We want to make it better, right? So stick around with me for this. It's going to get interesting. Um, and I just hope that this leads to justice for the family, justice for the loved ones, um, justice for people that care, and to show that, you know, even as one person, you can make a difference, even if you don't think that you can. I know for a long time, I thought myself, I'm like, oh, I'm just one person. What possibly could I do as one person? Especially when there's all these other things, these major media outlets, FBI agents, cops, all that kind of stuff that have more than I do, have more resources than I do, more information, more resources, just more everything than I do. But it doesn't necessarily mean anything, right? So come along on this journey with me. I am also going to have lots of like polls and lots of ways for you to interact so that if anybody else knows anything or knows ways that they can help, please, please, please do. Um, this is like one of the episodes that you will just typically see me. I will have guests occasionally, but even though it's just me, I'm counting on all my listeners and everybody out there to help finally get this case where it needs to be. So tune in. This is just my little intro, letting you know that I am working on a case that has sat for far too long, and we're going to solve it. So, this is how to deal when the shit gets real, and shit's about to get real.